Thank you. All right, you have the stream? Okay. So today we're going to have a little bit of fun with JavaScript proxies. The point of this talk is to show a little bit how it works, so you can see what you can do with it, and we are going to abuse just a little bit how it's intended to be used, so we can have actually a time machine that we are going to build. So that's going to be cool. Most of this will be live coding. So I hope you're not too tired from 2 days of conference, but I think it will be cool, so stay tuned. All right, a little bit about myself. I'm Marc. You can find me on X or on Twitter under this handle. I'm from Luxembourg. I'm tech lead at Talk Event Software, where we do B2B communication systems for banks and stuff. So if you are using a German bank, especially Sparkasse, it's a 50-50 chance that you have used one of the software that I wrote and written in Vue, which I love to code in Vue, Next, and yeah, TypeScript. And yeah, I'm a student pilot. I'm currently in the process of getting my private pilot's license. You probably ask, why am I telling you this? Well, there's an unspoken rule. As a pilot, you always have to say that you're a pilot. It's a little bit like OCaml and Rust developers. All right, so what are proxies? You probably know network proxies or internet proxies, proxy servers, where you don't immediately send the request from your computer to a server, but it goes through a proxy server, which can block some requests, which can do some stuff with your request. And that's basically what JavaScript proxy also does. So here on the bottom, we have the proxy, and when we query something or we use this proxy, it actually requests this. For example, here, proxy.age, we set this value, so we set it to a so-called target. This target, you can imagine, it is just the regular object, the state of the current object, right? And when you retrieve data from this proxy, like console log, or when you use it anywhere in your code to display or something, it also gets it from this target. All right, and there is some magic here. So there's something that we can do with this. We can intercept these, and we can do whatever we want with this. So these are so-called traps, and yeah, we can do whatever we want with it. We can replicate the original proxy behavior, or we can abuse it to build a time machine. The same for getting a parameter for the getters. We can also customize this entirely. OK, so what is this time machine we are going to build? Let's take a quick look what we are going to build, and then we jump straight into the code. OK, so what we are going to create is one single function which takes data, for example, like a simple object like this, and the output will be a proxy. And here we will have a target, and we will override the original target that this is just an object, and we will fill it with a bunch of other data that we need to build our time machine with: states, timelines, and so on. Then in the setters, we have the safe state, and we can manage our timelines. We can jump between timelines and so on. So the more I talk about this, the more I feel that I'm branding it wrong. It's not a time machine, it's a multiverse. So whatever is cooler for you. And together, we have to replicate the regular object behavior, but we also have to add extra functionality to make our time machine work. And with this, we also get free reactivity on the side. It's not very fancy reactivity, but for example, Vue.js, and I think also Svelte use proxies for reactivity. Not sure about Svelte, but Vue for sure. We will build a very primitive reactivity here as well. OK, so coding time. Let's get started. So first, everyone in the back, can you read the code, or should I zoom it in? It's OK. I get OK there. OK, perfect. All right, so here we have a very simple HTML page, which basically just imports a JavaScript file, right? And this JavaScript file is mostly empty. It's just a console log for now. But let's just start coding our let's go a step back. I'm going to do 3 different things. I'm going to first show very quickly how proxies work in a very simple example. Then we add a simple time machine, and then we add a little bit more functionality to it. If there's time, probably not. We will also do the multiverse thing, but I will show it to you, and there's also code at the end. You can just scan it and check out the GitHub and play around with it on your spare time. OK, so let's assume we have a product. This has a price, 6 euros, and we have a quantity of, let's say, 2. And when we go ahead and we just log this out, let's make it fancy. We have the product.price. So far, so good. Is this not working? It is working. OK. And when we change this price, for example, to 1,000, and then we log this again, we can see that this is the behavior that we're looking for, right? We change something, and it just changes. Cool. But how does this work with proxies now? So let's just create a new proxy with this syntax, just new proxy. We pass in as first parameter our object, so our product. And the second is going to be the handlers, the setters and getters that we're going to override. But for now, we just won't override anything, and we will see how this behaves. So we just replace product with proxy. And it works as expected. If we go here, product quantity, and we change this, and then we query it again, it works as expected. Cool. But let's break this first. So we can overwrite the getter like this. And when we save this, we can already see here on the right that we don't have a response anymore. So we would have to replicate this. So it's not the normal behavior that is just there and we build something on top. We just override the complete thing. So we also have to override the normal behavior. So here, if we would return any number, it would show it here. So we have to get this. So this getter, we get some things from this. So we have a target, and we have a property. And let's just log this out to see what it is. So the target, I told you, it's just an object, and this is exactly how you see this. It's just a regular object with the data, and when we change the data, we can also see it there. If we just go here and get the proxy, we can see something like this. This is a proxy object, but if we go to target here, we have this exact same object. So yeah, it's just the data that we have in the current state. OK, and when we go ahead and we let's just log something out here. So we get the property. So this is what happens. So get price, because we get it here twice. If we, for example, would be quantity, it would say get quantity. Cool. So what we can do with this is just we return, instead of this, the target at property. And it works again. So we have now the expected behavior again with our getter. Cool. Let's go ahead and code our setter. So now we just set this as empty. And as I told you, it's overriding the behavior. And now, as we override it, it doesn't work as expected anymore. So we have to replicate this. So here we get the target, the property, and also a value. So to what value we're going to set it. And here, it doesn't require a return. I think the default return is just return the Boolean if it worked or not. Let's just assume to have the code cleaner that it worked, and we're not going to return anything. But we can change the target at property, and we set it to value. And it works again. So this is pretty cool. this is the basic thing that we are going to use to do our to code up our time machine. All right, so let's go ahead to go to the second thing here. So let me just close this up. Here we have the second example, our demo. So here we have also proxy.js, which is empty. So let's just copy everything from the old one here. So we have it. And then let's take a look at this. So we have a field here, name. We can change this. We can already see that the name doesn't update here, but the age updates. The more age 30, back pain, health goes down. More older, health goes down. Maybe we'll go to a doctor, health goes up. Very good. Okay, so this is how this example works. And we have here the buttons with decrease, increase age. The name, maybe this is going to be important. We just set the name of the object, or of the object at the moment. And we have this forward, backward, so we can jump back and forwards in time. Cool. But all of this is not wired up, so if we try this, we get an error. Then we have an object here. And we have a bunch of, here is, we get data from our object, we write it into our DOM, and a bunch of functions to edit the data. Not very important, but you can see here, display state, display state, display state, display state. Not cool, and I told you we get free reactivity, so we will do that in a second. But for now, let's just go ahead, clean up this code, and we create our function. So create time machine, and we expect some data. And then we'll just copy all of this in here. This, we don't need it anymore. Product, we don't need it anymore. And we can immediately return our proxy. And the initializer is going to be the data that we pass here. OK, so now, let's refresh this. When we could just go ahead, we have our object here. Instead of doing this, you just go create time machine. And we're going to set this up like this. So we can already see there's stuff happening here. Get, because we read a couple of things. When we change our data here, we can see it still reads. This is because we write it in our, how was it called, display state. But we can also see that we are setting it. Why don't we have a setter? Didn't we have a, oh, we don't have a, good catch. So we have here setter, set. So when we change here, we can see that there's also the setter is going to be engaged. Cool. So we already wired this up. We have a proxy now. We work with the proxy. But I told you we can get free reactivity. Let's do this now. So instead of just calling this every time, let's just assume our second parameter. We just pass a callback here, display state, and we just delete it from here. Like, as such. And then we go into our time machine function here, and we just assume here an onUpdate function, and let's default it maybe to nothing. Oops. Okay, so when we set a value, we just tell our interface, let's update this, so we just call onUpdate, and let's see what happens. So it seems to be working. Also, this updates now. As you can see here, this didn't work before. This works now because we overrode the reactivity. Cool, so we are one step further. Now, what we want to do is we actually want to implement our time machine. So, is this the time that I have left or that I already spoke? That I have left, OK. We have to speed it up a little bit. Elian, are you good if I'm taking some more? OK, good, I have the OK. So we don't have to rush, that's important. OK, so what are we doing here for our time machine? We need an array of states. We're just going to save all the states changes. We save the entire array. A little bit not great for performance, maybe, for memory, but for small things, it should be fine. But we could also just save the changes and then roll back the thing. But this is a little bit easier. So instead of the data here, let's just say what do we need here? We need states, which is an array, and we need to know at which state we are. So let's just call this current index, and it starts at 0. Okay, so now instead of, let's just move the setter a little bit up here. If not, it doesn't make sense to me. Okay, we can also delete the logs. Okay, so this is not going to work anymore if you want to work with this. So our state initializer, what is going to be here? So let's just say it would be data, but that's an object. So pass by reference might not be the best idea. I ran into issues when I was building this. Why is it always changing and it doesn't stay the same? And we need to make a copy of this. So let's just use structured clone of our data. This should be good for now. And instead of saving this, we just go to our target states and we push it. We push our so what are we going to push? We push a structured clone of our data, and we override the property value. So at property, we set this value. So this should work. And one last thing we have to do is we have to increment our counter, our index, so our current index ++. Okay, so we can already see there's stuff broken here, but we can see this is at least working, but it's broken because this isn't updated yet. So what do we want to return here? Let's just get the current state here. Current state is, we can get it from the target states, and where? Well, at the index of current index, so target current index. And we just return the current state property. Okay, so is it working? It seems to be working, except this, but we will look at that later. Let's just see if the setter here works properly. Let's set property value. So it seems to be working fine. Also, this seems to be working fine. Okay, let's remove this. Cool. What's next? So this isn't working. Let's see how it is implemented. It's here in our display state. We just go ahead and we stringify person. Well, now we are in a problem because it's not as we intend to use it. We would need to have something like current state for this to work. For now, it's undefined, but now we can abuse a little bit of our creativity and proxies. We just go ahead. If our prop is current state, then do something else. Let's have the else clause here. Okay, so what are we going to do when it's current state? Well, we just want to return the current state, so we can move this a little bit up and return the entire thing. Let's see. Okay, cool. So this seems to be working. Also, the text changes seem to be working. The health changes seem to be working. So okay, so far so good. All right, now we are set up to have our time machine, and let's just add some more functionality. So for the time machine, what do we need? Our forward and backwards function. So here we see it. Oh, sorry. It's just called person.forward and person.backward. It's probably forwards and backwards, but let's not get hung up on it. Okay, so we can do another one here. Else if we could also do switch, but I don't like switch. Don't add me. So if it's backward, what's missing here? Okay, and we have one with forward. And what do we want to do here? Well, we want to return a function. So now, well, we just return a function, right? Return a function. For now, we just leave it empty. But we can do whatever we want here. So this is already abusing a little bit of how proxies are probably intended to be used, but it works. So why not try it? So here we can go ahead and we can manipulate our current index. So we can here, when we go backwards, we just go minus minus, and when we go forward, we go plus plus. We don't have to forget to set our on to call our callback. So let's see if this works. So I go up here in the age. This goes down. Let's go backwards. Yeah, cool. So it goes actually backwards in all the states. When we go forward here, yeah, this doesn't work because I don't have rail guards here. But let's just say here at 30, we are not John Doe, we are John Doe. Then we go further, we change something here. So we go back. It changes the name there. We can go forward, change this back. So cool. We have a basic time machine where we just skip forward and backwards. But that's not really what a time machine is, right? What we really want to do is we want to jump in time, not in steps. And we can see in our next in the next step how we can do this. So for that, let me just present you the project here. Let me just zoom this in, maybe. So it's a pretty simplistic role-playing game. You are a wizard in a forest. You have to get a trophy there. Let's just call the wizard, I don't know, Harry or something like that. Okay, we can move this here. We have some obstacles, the trees, and we have some hazards. So a snake, when the snake bites you, you get 30% of your health, not good. You have a potion here. When you take it, you get 100% of your health. Neat. And then you just go, well, this is easy. Damn it, what is this? Invisible hazard. So there's just fire appearing from nowhere, and it takes 50% of your health. Unfair, but that's life. But let's just go, yeah, I'm probably the only invisible hazard, right? And then we go, and there's another invisible hazard, and we are that. So this is not great, so that's why we need our time machine. So let's take a quick look at this project then. So again, copying the proxy from here, we close it, and we have our game here. It's a little bit bigger. I just copy this in here. Well, let's open a few things. The game, the index, the map, maybe, yeah, as well. Okay, so it's nothing spectacular. We have our, where is it? Here, it's canvas, which is just printing out the emojis. We have a few buttons that are now hidden that are going to be used for controlling the timelines and so on. So go back in time, that kind of stuff. The map is just something like this that's going to be mapped into some, into a two-dimensional array matrix. So we can look at, actually, let's just go full on this. Yeah, we have a state here, so you can probably already imagine what we're going to do with this. We have a map to matrix, not important. We have here print game, draw player, print some stats, not important. Some event listeners for our arrow movements. And we have our time machine functionality here. I can see I'm already over time. 5 more minutes. If that's okay. If not, just drag me off the stage. Try me. Okay, where was I? Yeah, so let's just go ahead. We have here our time travel things. So we have, did that work? Okay, so we have here a timeline. It's now undefined. We have go back in time 5 seconds, go back in the steps, and so on. So let's close this. And also this, and we just need our game here in our time machine. Okay, cool. So when we want to go back in time, we need to know when what happened. So we need to add this data to our state. So we can do this by just wrapping this in another object. We spread it. We add a timestamp with a new date, and we're going to do the same here. When changing a value. So here also timestamp, new date. Cool. So let's just look at this. We go through our map here. We need to wire it up as well. So here we have our state, and we just say create time machine. Okay. And now it's wait, not working. Ooh, the right and left is not working anymore. That's not good. Okay, what did I do now? I practiced this a million times. It's not even an error there. Is it maybe the that we have to pass here our callback for reactivity? Let's just see. But why does it go up and not to the right? Okay, this is not good. Okay, what we are going to do is not fancy, but we're just going to reset this. And we go to the main branch to see the finished project. So, what I was going to do is the following. So, okay, this is the... Is this the full one? Yeah, okay, this is the full one with already the timelines. Let's ignore the timelines for now. So what we were going to do, here we have a back in time. What we just do here, we get a new target time. So we take away the seconds of the current date, so like 5 seconds, for example. We find the index, we slice up the array of states, we take those away from the arrays, and we just set a new index, so we just basically erase the history of that. And with the time machine, with the timelines thing, we have just one more layer of abstraction. Every time when we jump in time, a new timeline is created, so it's just also another array here. A new timeline is created, then we can jump between the timelines, and let's just, I hope this works now then. It's just not game there. Okay, this seems to be working, so cool. Here I can go to my, through my game. I get bitten by the snake, not so good. I get attacked by the invisible hazard, and then I can just go back 5 seconds. So you remember I was here, and now I'm here, and the fire isn't there yet, but I can go to the next timeline, or actually it's the previous timeline, but here's in reverse. So you can see here, Devworld 1, this is the second timeline we created. We can go ahead from here and do stuff, so we can heal here. Oh, it's my, yeah, okay, I stepped into another fire, great. And the 5 seconds passed, so I can't go back. So it's not even easy with the time travel, but you see, we are here, we go back in time, and we can just skip through our timelines and go from there, create a new timeline, and just be a little bit Rick and Mortying the thing up. Rick and Morty fans, anyone? Oh, yes, okay. Okay, so this is it. Sorry for, yeah, please wrap it up now, I see. Okay, so I'm wrapping this up then. There's just a few caveats with this. The actions in the past don't affect the future, which was the original thought of this. It's just too mind-blowing to do that. Maybe in a future talk, but for this one not. Yeah, if a property is an object on array, we have some issues. We have to wire up some more proxy stuff, and it's a large overhead because we save the entire state. So if you have a game with big maps and stuff, so all of that is going to be saved. So maybe not the greatest thing to do, but great for some cool things. So thanks a lot for your attention. You can find the code here at marc.dev/outertime, or just scan the QR code. Thank you very much.